threading a needle can be both one of the most daunting things and one of the easiest things. Yet at the same time, you don't want to do it at all. So there are multiple ways. Different people will just knot it at the end like so, and just create a knot via that way. That is not my personal favorite, mainly because I feel like I get about an inch worth of extra tail, which I don't really need. So what I like to do, my favorite one that I learned from my teacher, what is to put your index finger and your thumb over the thread, over the needle, like so. So the thread is over the needle, so you put the needle on your index finger, you then put the thread on top, and then put it in between your thumb and the needle. You're then gonna go to the back and pull to the front. Go to the back, pull to the front, go to the back, pull to the front. 3 times in total. You're then gonna slide it off the back and just keep going till you've created this gorgeous little knot. Now, depending on what type of fabric, you may want to do this once or twice more. It really just depends on what you have. Now, there are different times when, especially if you're doing a slip stitch, that you may not want that type of tie off. You may want one where it is just one thread that has the knot on it. So for this one, same concept, except instead of going around 3 times, you go around 5. This one, I always like making sure that I do 2, mainly on the fact that I just feel like it's very easy for the thread, for the thread to come undone. But here is the little thing. So this is how just a single thread is how a slip stitch is normally done. I don't always do it this way. It really depends. If it's a thinner fabric, then I'm going to do only 1 thread. If it's a thicker fabric, or if it's multiple pieces of fabric that I'm putting together, then I'm going to do a double, as if I'm doing a running stitch or a back stitch. So, yep, those are only 2 ways. There are many, many, many more, but those are my 2 favorite ways of threading. So, next up is tying off. So once I have my stitch complete, this is just simple running stitch, I'm going to flip it over to the back. So this is my original knot. Yes, I know it's a little bit messy. I was trying to make it a little bit quicker. So there are different ways you can tie off. One of the ways that is really easy to do is merely just cutting thread right here and just knotting it a few times. That one's really easy, but for different things, like if I'm doing a slip stitch especially, I don't want to use that. So what you want to do for a different type of knot is you want to go underneath one of the previous stitches. So I'm going to choose the one closest to where I stitched last, and I'm on the back, and I'm just going to pull through. And then this creates basically a little opening, and I'm just going to put the needle through it and pull. And then I do this anywhere between 2 to 3 times, depending on how I feel, or depending on if that knot is not quick enough. So I will oftentimes go underneath the same stitch multiple times, but then I will also go underneath the thread that came from me doing the first tie off. And I'm just going to pull, and then it'll create this nice little knot. And then you would just cut off. So one of the
lastly,
other
a slip stitch
about tying off is for a slip stitch. So as you can see, I did do a tie off right here. I did one slip stitch going this direction and one going this direction. And what you want to do for a slip stitch is you want to go underneath one of the stitches, and then you want to pull through and do a knot. It's the same as the other one, except you want to try and get as close to the fabric as possible. And unlike the other one where if you have a tail, that's fine, this one, what I like to do is go inside and then I come out the fabric. So I just come out and I pull, and it'll cause the knot to push down and it won't be as likely to show. And then I cut it off here. And then I did a little bit more of a tail, and I just slip it in. So then my slip stitch, this one, I did make a little bit of a mistake. I did it more on the top than on the side, which I should have, but it is extremely helpful and helps keep the seam as hidden as possible. So this was all done. These sections were all done by a slip stitch on each side. There are some parts where you can tell it a little bit more than others, but with a little bit of needlework, I can repair that nice and quickly. But yeah, so that's how you can do the knot for a slip stitch. And again, there are many different types of knots to do, and there's many different methods. It all depends on what method works best for you.